care. Take care.
Very autumnal. Every day, without fail, this guy finds another tennis ball by the tennis courts. Okay, we are back. Turn the windscreen wipers off. It is 14th of September 2023. It is a Thursday, which means it is deadlift day in abs powerlifting. Not as heavy today, so that's on the program. So we are pulling back the deadlifts, as I've previously mentioned, to allow for a bigger PB or more energy on the squats on Sunday. So sort of a deload almost, but still with some intensity. So rather than 3 reps, I'm going to just do a single with the maybe a little bit less than the weight I would have done for a triple. So there'll still be enough to, you know, get some stimulation. I've got the usual stuff, so you've seen some of the food I've had today. Plenty of calories in so far, around 2600. Have this fairly above average sized banana, the 2 little mini pink ladies, and I'm gonna sip on the milk now as well, because right, Connor has increased my calories, so I'm now just shy of 5,000. I was about 4,800, so now he's bumped it up. Sorry, I was 4,730 and now I'm on about 4,900. So not a massive increase, but just a slight one. You know, I think that's something people get wrong when they're bulking, especially more experienced people, is they do too large of a surplus. You know, you don't need that big of a surplus, especially if you're more experienced. So think about it like this, right? When you're less experienced, you've got lots of muscle to gain, okay? And that the more muscle you have to gain and the more room you have for growth, say per week, per month, whatever, the larger of a surplus you're going to need to, you know, max out that growth potential. Okay, so maybe you can get away with a 500, 600 calorie surplus with minimal fat gain. But as you get more experienced, you have less muscle to build, so you won't need as many calories to build it. Excess calories, that is. And if you pile on, if you put in a surplus of 600 or 500, whatever fucking gym bros usually do these days, you're just gonna pile on fat if you're more experienced. So this is a mistake I made in my last sort of prep when I was, you know, getting bigger. I got a bit too fluffy and I felt sort of shit. And when you get a bit on the fluffier side as well, recovery isn't the same. So if you're too lean or if you're too fat, they both have drawbacks on recovery, right? It's to do with your whole insulin sensitivity. So when you're too lean, your body isn't going to prioritize channeling food to muscle, because right, you're so lean that your body's almost in survival mode, right? You're going to prioritize surviving over building muscle. And same thing with when you're fat, you sort of get skewed insulin sensitivity, so it's not going towards muscle and it's just going to be ended up in storage as fat. So yeah, you don't want to be on, you want to be in the middle. So that's why it's important to stay somewhat lean but have a decent amount of body fat, so you're in a healthy place. So yeah, that's my thinking around that. But yeah, another thing, a reason why I'm drinking the milk prior to the session now is because obviously with more calories, you know, it's only a few, like 150 more or something, but I'm going to divide up my final meal, because if I was to just add on more potatoes, I'm already feeling quite full from, you know, I usually have around 800 grams of potatoes, but now I'm going to break that down to around 650, 700 grams of potatoes to allow me more room for another meal after, closer to bedtime. So I'll probably have some cereal or some cream of rice or something nice little dessert treat that's easy to get down and it's more carbs. So yeah, and I think people can mess up a bit with the whole organization side of things. So if you're struggling to get calories in, right, it may not be down to the amount of food you have to eat. Okay, say you're a 90 kg or even 100 kg guy, fairly active, training, trying to build muscle. If you're that active, you're going to need probably in excess of 4,000 calories a day, like most of the time. So that's quite a bit of food, and if you're not used to eating that amount, like, you're going to struggle to get it in, because you're not going to know about like meal timing and how eating much more food and how it makes you feel fuller. So what you're going to have to do is get organized, right? So this is where people fall down on. They tend to not eat until like the afternoon or something, or if you forget a meal, then you're playing catch up and your meals are too big, your digestion goes to shit, and then your appetite goes to shit. So you want to get into a routine. This is why I have probably the same, you don't have to have the same exact foods every day, but have a sort of schedule. It doesn't have to be set times, you know. You can have like a range between, like, say 9:30 to 11 a.m. in the morning, that's your breakfast. Between 1 and maybe 2:30, that's your lunch. Then say 4:30, that's your pre-workout, and then have something to sip on during your workout. Have something to have immediately after, like for me that was the milk in most cases, but now I'm just gonna have my dinner and then some cereal, or cereal and then some dinner. So, you know, have a bit of a schedule there, so that way you're not constantly feeling so full and your appetite is going to shit. You know, I think people make that mistake. They try to have 3 or 2 even fucking massive meals and their appetite is all over the place. So if you space it out a bit more, you're also going to get a bit more spiking in protein synthesis if you break it down more. And yeah, just better digestion and use of the food you're actually eating. Like, half the time, if you're eating too much, you're just going to shit it out because your stomach's all over the place. But if you space it out, right? So protein synthesis is something, it's a bit weird as well. You can't keep just spiking it up. There's a threshold. So when you spike it up, it hits this threshold and it comes back down. This is where the argument for like certain amount of grams of protein comes in. Okay, so there is a threshold for how much you can spike. And then once it can't spike again until you come back down to a baseline. So when you get back down then to that baseline, oh shit, I nearly fucking cut someone off there, stupid fuck. Alright people, cutting straight into the workout, got cut off there, doing my voiceover during my evening walk, killing 2 birds with 1 stone. This is my top single today with 270. Felt a bit weird, not gonna lie. I think it was the new bar, or different bar than usual. Used to the Cerberus one, which I've been training on for the past 8 weeks or so for this prep. Then went on to 250, 4-3 for this set. Pulled back the deadlifts today so you can push the squat. So less overall volume by reducing number of sets and reducing the overall weight lifted. This bar was chewing up my thumbs as well. It's a bit tougher on the knurling. Did 200 for a set of 8 on the deadlifts after that, and then went into the high bars then. Just did 2 sets today on this as well, pulling these back as well, allowing the body to recover a little bit more for Sunday's heavy session coming up. So this was a set of 170, just did it for 7 reps for the first set, just banging them out really. Didn't really need to reset the brace, it was pretty light, so felt decent enough. Got that done handily enough. And then went on again, same weight again. I think I did this for a set of 9 this time, so you probably hear the cars in the background, but I don't give a fuck. Yeah, banged it out. I was actually pretty pleased with how well I was able to just bang them out like that. Never really did that before. I always had to like reset. Yeah, felt decent enough. Looking forward to Sunday's potential £600 for 4 reps. Cardio, baby. The racks were inverted, so I just kept them like that. So the person I was working in with was using them like that to stop them clipping it on the walkout. Anyways, then went into the hip thrusts. Did a set of 100 before this set with 140. So I did 100 for 20 reps, which really got the glutes lit up. Yeah, again, just pulled these back. Didn't want to do too much weight or sets at the top end. So just like did more reps working up. Did a sort of pyramid style today. It's a deload anyway. It's not going to matter too much what I fucking do on these. So yeah, I did 100 for 20, 140 for I think it was 15, and then 180 for a set of 10, which I think could be a PB on this considering I never really do them. So but yeah, good stimulation today on the glutes. Just sort of got this workout done, powered through, because like the last time I did this session was like 3 hours long. So I think this was just over 2 hours today. So I was pretty pleased with that. Here's Alex doing Pallof press, which is really good core stability exercise. Then we have Toaster. I was asking him to smell my knees because my knee sleeves were stinking. He was a bit repulsed by it, which is pretty funny. And then I had some Spanish squats to finish up. So I think I did 2 sets on these in total. Sets of 25 to 30 reps. I think I did 30 on the first one, and then this was a set of 25. Felt pretty weird though, not gonna lie. Right leg felt like it was working much harder than my left. But you know, we can dive too much into the imbalances, focus too much on the little subtle things that probably don't matter too much either way. My left leg was looking juicy after, but I might focus a bit more on single leg stuff, particularly for the quads, because I am starting to notice a little weirdness. I think my right side works harder. I don't know. We all have our imbalances and asymmetries and whatnot. But yeah, these were sore, man. It was like cardio. Really good stimulation, and my quads were fucking on fire after them. I followed these up with some Copenhagen planks, but the set I did, I sort of didn't record it properly. So you're not going to get to see that today, unfortunately. I really need to invest in a mic as well. I have one sorted for either tomorrow's vlog or the day after. Going to test that out. If it's not great, I'm going to get the Rode one. All the fluences are using. So that should be fun times. Won't need to do these stupid voiceovers anymore, hopefully. Still going. This is a fucking long set. But yeah, these are pretty good in the knees though. I got cut off earlier and I turned off the video because I got distracted and forgot what I was going to say. Didn't restart it, and obviously didn't record on the way home from the gym. So what I was getting into earlier though was the argument for, you know, spacing out your protein feedings throughout the day, and how, you know, protein synthesis can only reach a sort of threshold of stimulation. So obviously training itself is going to elevate your muscle protein synthesis for up to, you know, 48 hours. But, you know, this sort of starts to decline as the days go on. You know, it's going to start to come down a bit, and then it reaches the baseline again. But we also can re-stimulate it with protein. So, you know, there's triggers in the body. So you have leucine, which is an amino acid, which is found in high quality protein sources, such as meat, steak, fish, eggs, milk or dairy, and whey protein, or protein like supplements. But leucine is that amino acid. It's basically the trigger for muscle protein synthesis, found in high quality sources that I just mentioned, and it triggers it up to a point. It triggers mTOR, which is an enzyme basically, which stimulates muscle protein synthesis, and it can only reach a certain point then, and then it takes a few hours for it to come back down to baseline, and it can't be re-stimulated again until it completely switches off. So essentially, you should be spacing out your meals. in order to keep re-stimulating protein synthesis and bringing it back up to that maximally stimulated threshold. So by doing this every 3 to 5 hours, you're going to keep on stimulating growth in the body, essentially. So this is why you should space out your meals. Yeah, I'd imagine you do, because I can't imagine someone eating 4,000 calories in one sitting and that being their only meal for the day. Any sane person is going to eat at least three decent sized meals per day. Most people would probably eat 4 or 5, especially if you're eating like 5,000 calories. There's no way you could get 5,000 calories in 1 or 2 sittings. That's just insanity. You're going to have shit digestion as well. And there's a whole lot of other nuance as well that goes into, you know, protein synthesis and maximizing it and being optimal. But all the literature essentially just points to, you know, eating high quality sources and then breaking your feedings down into 3 to probably 6 feedings a day. There's no actual benefit from eating 6 versus eating 3. You know, there's nothing to say that eating 6 is superior to 3. But there is to say that eating 3 is definitely better than eating 2 and 1. So, but yeah, moral of the story is train hard and eat high quality protein and space it out throughout the day. You have to consider, you know, the size of the person, the intensity of their training, and the length of the training sessions as well. You know, that's going to cause a whole lot more muscle damage as well. So this is going to cause you to require more protein, which require more protein per sitting. So saying that, you know, 30 grams of protein is, you know, the most optimal, any more than that, you're sort of being wasteful, is, you know, a bit stupid, like, in a way, because, you know, obviously if you're eating 250 grams of protein, and you're having 4 meals a day, that's different to if you're eating 180 grams of protein, having 4 meals a day, you know. So going to be bigger feedings for the bigger individual who trains, and the individual who trains harder and trains for longer and does more shit. So few considerations, lots of nuance. Don't dive into it too much. Anyways, I'm going to have my dinner now, but I want to thank you all for tuning in. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow with the next video. Bench day tomorrow. So